everybody, and welcome back to Out of Body. My name is Sabrina, and in today's video we are going to be talking about dreams. Now, I've gotten the question a lot on my channel as to what are dreams? Are they real? Are they just a figment of our imagination? Is it just our brains working at night? Is it possibly paranormal at times? There have been many theories over the course of history, and I'm not going to go into a history lesson here necessarily, but I'm just going to go into the different theories in science, in various religions, and just by psychologists and other people as far as what dreams really are. And again, what I'm going to talk about are just theories. You don't have to agree with any of it. You don't have to agree with every single theory. I just wanted to bring about a lot of different perspectives on this topic because I just find it interesting, and I think so many people question what dreams really are. Now, I did a video similar to this a couple of years ago, I think, on my channel when I was just getting started, and I think it's called What Really Happens When We Sleep, kind of poking at the theory where maybe we leave our bodies during sleep, even though we don't realize it, and even though we're not intentionally doing it. But I'll get into that later on in this video. But in this video, I just want to talk about all of the theories about sleep and specifically dreams. So the first perspective I'm going to bring forth on here is the one that most people know about, the scientific perspective of dreams and what they are. Now, according to WebMD, a dream is an image or a visual storyline that our mind creates while we sleep. Now, scientists will say that the dream state happens during the REM, or the rapid eye movement state of sleep, which is typically around when you're kind of just waking up from sleep. It's when you're not in a super deep sleep. You're kind of more in that stage of sleep where you'll be waking up soon. That's why a lot of times you'll have a dream and then wake up. Now, during the rapid eye movement stage of sleep is when your brain is most active, and it's actually in the name. It's when your eyes behind your eyelids will actually be moving rapidly. So this is how they know it. This is when people are dreaming, because it's like they're seeing activity, their eyes are moving about. But some scientists actually say that dreams exist for our mental health and to help us solve problems and to help us solve emotional issues in our daily life. Now, they say that dreams only last a few minutes. And I've heard, I don't know if this is, I didn't dig deep into this, I'm not sure if it's true, but I remember hearing when I was younger that dreams only last a few seconds long, typically. But according to what I could find, research online, dreams actually can last anywhere from a few minutes to 30 minutes, which that makes more sense to me, because there's times where I've been like, okay, I swear I was in that dream for like an hour, because it felt so long. Now, some scientists say that dreams have meaning, and some say that there's no meaning at all, that it's just purely our brains just working and making visions. Now, on the case of premonition dreams, which I have personally had a lot of these, a lot of experts in science will say that to explain this away is that you're dreaming about a memory, or it's a coincidence, or that your brain is actually linking info. So as an example, like say you have a dream that your friend gets a puppy, and then like that next week she texts you and says, oh hey, I just got this puppy. So what they're saying is that it could be that your brain had pieced it together. In other words, like maybe your friend mentioned at some point wanting a puppy recently, and maybe at some point you glanced over at her phone and she was looking at pictures of puppies or something like that. Things that during the day you would kind of just gloss over and not really think about. And it was like your brain puzzle piecing it together, like, oh, maybe she'll get a puppy, and then she did. So it's like, that's a little bit of a mix of coincidence and like putting it together. But that's what they're talking about there in a sense, is that sometimes when you have a premonition dream, it's like your mind just putting the pieces together while you sleep instead of actually predicting the future out of nothing. So now to get into some of the religious perspectives of dreams, many religions actually have teachings saying that dreams are actual proof of the spirit realm and that the spirit world exists. So in other words, proof that while we sleep, our bodies don't just, aren't just sleeping, and our souls don't necessarily sleep. So some religions actually do teach that our souls are active at night while we sleep, and that our dreams are kind of maybe memories from that, or proof that our souls do live on. Some religions feel that dreams are proof of the spirit world because of how limitless dreams are and how limitless the spirit world is supposed to be. So in other words, like when you're in a dream and you're flying, or in your dream and you go through a wall, or you jump off of buildings or something like that and you don't get hurt. Like I've had a lot of dreams like that where I'm literally flying or like jumping from building to building and I don't get hurt. It's like crazy stuff like that that happens in your dreams that makes you think like, wow, that would never happen in real life. But maybe, just maybe, it could happen in another life. So I'm going to name drop a few religions here. I'm not going to go real in depth, so if you are an expert at this particular religion, don't come at me because I didn't do a lot of research on specific religions. I just kind of went in general about dreams and their stances on what dreams are. So for example, with Buddhism and Hinduism, some of their basic teachings are that this physical world that we're in is actually not as real as the spirit realm, and that we are souls just having a physical experience, or we're souls just in a physical body, not the other way around. How some people tend to see it is like, oh, I'm a physical body, I'm a physical being, and I have a soul. Whereas some religions like Buddhism and Hinduism tend to think of it the other way around, that we are souls in a physical body. And even in Christianity, there are lots of cases in the Bible, stories from the Bible, that talk about angels visiting people in a dream, you know, and warning them about something, or somebody having a dream about something that predicts the future, and so they'll, you know, predicts a bad future sometimes, and so they'll not do that thing, and then they'll avoid the bad future. So even in Christianity, even in the Bible, there are stories about dreams that kind of suggest that they could be more than just dreams. Now, with that being said, some people would argue, well, those particular stories happen to like religious figures in the Bible or important figures in the Bible, so it wouldn't happen to the average person. I can see that perspective, you know, but that's another rabbit hole that I'm not going to go down right now. That about concludes the religious side of it. Like I said, I didn't go real in depth on that. I just wanted to give a religious perspective. So I'm going to give here some other perspectives, just some other theories that I've heard of. So some people say that dreams are actually memories from another life. Now this goes a little bit into reincarnation, which not everybody vibes with that, and I get that, but it's just a theory, you know, that possibly our souls actually incarnate multiple times in this world or in other worlds, and that sometimes when we dream about something, especially if it has nothing to do with our physical reality, like we dream about people we've never met or that we don't remember meeting. Sometimes we'll even dream about being somebody that we're not in this physical world. And so in those cases, people have thought, you know, it could be that they're dreaming about another life. Another theory is that some of the dreams we have are pre-birth memories. And I did a video on that previously, I think last year on my channel. Pre-birth memories are basically memories of being in the spirit realm before coming to Earth. So memories of being in heaven, or whatever you want to think of it as. So some people would claim that certain dreams could be memories from being in that kind of pre-birth area. Now other people would say that our dreams are actually memories from our souls traveling the astral plane, which I've kind of mentioned already. So in other words, kind of like out-of-body experiences. Even though we don't remember leaving our body after we fall asleep, it's theorized that maybe our souls actually leave at some point while we sleep and travel to astral planes, and that the dreams that we end up with when we wake up are kind of the memories from that. Now even Robert Monroe, who wrote the book Journeys Out of the Body and talked about his astral projection experiences, he talks about something that's very interesting. In some of his experiences, he would come across these dreamers, these people that were not astral projecting, these souls that were not astral projecting, they were in a dream state. And what's interesting is that he talked about something called a dream school. And so it was like these souls would go to some sort of like school. They would actually get guidance from other spirits as far as what to do in their lives, how to solve their problems. This kind of, in my opinion, could confirm the phrase that people will kind of throw around and say like, oh, just sleep on it. You know, like if you're trying to make a decision or something, oh, just sleep on it. See what you think in the morning. I have had this experience a lot where I've had like a really big problem and I'm like, I just need to go to sleep. I just need to figure it out later. And as I'm waking up or after I wake up, all of a sudden, like, I know what to do. Like, I know what to do about that problem, but I don't remember being told anything. I just, all of a sudden, it's in my head when I wake up that I know how to solve this problem. So I feel like that could kind of explain it a little bit if we do go to some sort of like dream school while we sleep. Sounds kind of funny, but hey, it could be. Another thing that Robert Monroe experienced when he would astral project is when he would come in contact with certain beings that are not astral projecting, but they're just spirits in the spirit realm already. They would see him and he would ask them a question or something, and they would be kind of taken aback, like, why are you talking to us? In other words, what they were questioning is why he was so active and conscious, because typically what they would see as spirits that are always in the spirit realm, that are not embodied on earth, not dreaming, not astral projecting, they're just in the spirit realm. When they come in contact with souls who come from earth, they're typically in contact with souls who are kind of in a dream state. Like, they kind of just go about doing whatever and they don't really talk to anybody. They're not really active. They're not really conscious, in other words. When Robert Monroe was astral projecting, he was very, he was conscious. You're conscious when you're doing that. And he would be asking them questions and trying to engage them, and they would be like, whoa, what are you doing? And he would say, oh, I'm an astral projector or whatever. And they'd say, oh, you're one of those. They would say something like that, like, oh, okay, that explains it. That explains why you're, like, more active, more conscious. So that in and of itself could kind of prove, in a sense, that when we dream that we actually are, our souls actually could be traveling the astral realms and not necessarily engaging with other souls, but just kind of traveling around and going about in our dreamlike state. Now, another theory that I think is interesting that is, I believe, mentioned in relation to quantum mechanics or quantum physics is that dreams could be us kind of tapping into a parallel universe. So if you don't know what a parallel universe is, I'm not an expert on it, but from what I know, it's basically like, that there's another universe out there that is almost, not quite, but almost like a duplicate to ours. It's parallel in a sense that, things kind of look the same, like you have a similar life, you exist in this other universe, a parallel you exist in this other universe. Now, this is kind of way out there for some people, I know, but it's a theory. So some people that go along with quantum physics actually say that sometimes our dreams, especially when you're dreaming from the third person, which I typically dream that way a lot. In other words, when I'm dreaming, I'm actually watching myself. So like, maybe I'm outside or something and I'm not necessarily like seeing through my own eyes. I'm like watching myself, like I can see my back or whatever, and I can watch myself flying and all of that. It still feels like I'm in it. Like I can feel everything, I can see everything, but it's like this third person perspective. Like I can see myself flying, I can see myself walking or driving or whatever. So I thought that was interesting, that it's a possibility that maybe there's these parallel universes out there where there's like other versions of ourselves, other versions of each other, and we go about and things aren't exactly alike, because typically when I dream in third person, I dream about something bad that's going to happen or something good. And it's almost like maybe I'm just tapping into what's going on in this other universe, because those particular dreams don't ever come true in my reality. When I dream in the third person, typically it does not come true. It does not end up a premonition dream. When I have a premonition dream, typically it's like just a first person, like I'm in it kind of dream. But when I dream in the third person where I'm watching myself, it's like things are happening in my life, but it's not quite the same as my life, not exactly. Even though everything kind of looks the same and I've got the same family and all of that, but it's not exactly the same. And then whatever happens in the dream doesn't manifest in real life ever. So that's what's kind of interesting. It makes me think, like, is that a possibility? So now I'm going to go into my personal opinions. So for me, honestly, I don't have like one cut and dry opinion on what dreams are, because I feel like there could be so many different causes for dreams. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that a lot of people will say, You know, if you have a nightmare, if you have a crazy dream, like an alligator chasing you or something like that, that it's like something you ate the night before. Just wanted to throw that out there as another thing that's a very common belief. As far as what I think about dreams, I think it depends. I think that certain dreams are definitely direct messages, I believe, from my spirit guides or angels. Sometimes I think just visions sent by my angels, not necessarily astral travels. But then other dreams I feel like are definitely my soul traveling during sleep. I really believe that. And then in cases where it is something just random and crazy and just unexplainable, has nothing to do with anything, with those, I do still feel like my soul travels while I sleep. But I do also know from astral projection and everything, all my experiences with that our brains are like a computer, and our brains translate what we see while we travel. And so sometimes it doesn't translate correctly. So you may have actually experienced in your travels that maybe that you were flying in the sky and you saw a bird in the distance, and your brain translates it as like a giant airplane that's about to hit you. I don't know, something like that. Like, you know, sometimes our brains are not perfect in the way they translate things. They're like a computer is the way I see it anyway. Now, as far as the question of can our brains actually manufacture a vision or manufacture a dream, I do actually think that that can happen. I do think that that can be the case sometimes, especially if we're really stressed about something or stressed about a problem, that our minds can kind of just go through all these scenarios. Especially if you're like me and if you're stressed about a particular situation, you kind of run different scenarios in your head while you're awake. So then when you sleep, some of those play out. You know, I think that that can happen, and that it can feel like we were actually living it, even though it was actually just something our brain was kind of manufacturing. I do feel like that can happen, but I don't think that's always the case. I think that a lot of the times what we dream, especially if it has certain meanings to it, that it could be astral travels, or it could be a message sent from your spirit guides or your angels, or even a past loved one. That's another thing I wanted to bring about in this video, is that I know a lot of people tend to have dreams about their loved ones that have passed on. I personally, for whatever reason, have never really had that. I've had, you know, astral travel experiences where I've visited loved ones that passed on, but I've never really had a dream about someone who's passed on. But with that being said, I still believe that people who have dreams like that, it's a possibility that it could be real in some sense. It could be that your loved one was actually visiting you, or that you went to visit your loved one. So in a nutshell, my opinion is it depends. I think that every theory has some interesting qualities, and I think, you know, I'm the kind of person that I like to include all theories, and I like to think of all the possibilities. I'm not a real cut and dry type of person. So I don't know, I just find it interesting. So now I invite you guys to comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think dreams are real? Do you think there's some sort of possibility in some of these theories? Or do you think they're just fabricated from our imaginations, from our brains? What do you guys think? And what are some interesting dreams that you guys have had that you cannot explain? Like, is there any dreams that you've had, either about a person or about a place or even a pet or something, that you just can't really explain? Drop a comment down below. I would love to hear about it and talk about it. I love this topic. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and if there's anything else you want me to talk about on this channel, I would love to have your feedback. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.